All right, everybody. One of three, count them, three watch reviews coming at you. Going to do them separately, release them one day at a time, or whenever I feel like doing it. One is a Tissot, one's a G-Spot, Shock, whatever. Wait, which one's the one that doesn't exist? Okay, G-Shock. The G-Spot's the one that's a myth. Anyway, and then I've got a Victorinox Inox coming, which is going to be awesome. But anyway, here's what I've been thinking about for a while. The Tissot Seastar 1000. I've seen these. They're great dive watches. They look really nice. I love Tissot. And I was at Trip and Company or Trip and something like that over in Dawsonville. Look them up. Awesome place. It's in a strip mall. Wouldn't think that they've got this massive selection. You go in and you're like, holy shit, they got a lot. Seiko, Hamilton, Alpina, G-Shock, Citizen, Bulova. When I say Seiko, I mean they had a massive Seiko and a couple others. They don't have Tog, they don't have Omega. He's trying to get Longines and some others in there. But anyway, what the 7 or 8 brands they have, they got a really nice selection. And I saw this one the other day, and I was like, nah, I'm not going to get it. I'll get it off Amazon maybe. And then it was gone from Amazon. Apparently it's been discontinued, and this red one is hard to get. So they went, he had one left, and he gave it to me at a 20% discount, less than what Amazon was charging. So I paid $4.15 for this, plus tax. This is a fantastic watch. Comes in a typical nice Tissot box. You got your pillow here. We had to take out 3 links to get it sized for me, and it does have micro adjust, so it's dialed in perfect. And let's take it out. I'm going to try to make these not 20 minutes. We'll just go through what they are and all that kind of good stuff. And as we are talking, I should probably pull this up. So what we have is the Seastar 1000, okay? And so professional here, the way I have this. This one I'll do. So these things normally go for like $5.95. I got it for $4.15 from the local jeweler, brand new. It is a chronograph. It has a really nice ruby red dial that has this cool starburst effect and then fades to black. It's got a black bezel. It is quartz, which I'm fine with. I like quartz. I have a watch winder now for 4 of my automatics. The other ones that I rarely wear, which are like the Paganis and stuff like that, they can just sit there, and if I decide to wear it, I'll just go ahead and wind it up that particular day. This is 30 meters of water resistance, so 1,000 feet, hence the name, Seastar 1000. Uses 316L stainless steel. It has I don't know exactly what movement. I'll put a link to the website and stuff like that. Came with a bracelet. We'll go through that in a minute. This is a big boy. This is a 45.5. So some people are gonna look at that and go, that's massive. I could never wear that. Well, look at it on my wrist. It's big, but that is so doable. Love it. I don't like going much bigger than that, unless it's a G-Shock. Because with metal, when you go that big, it's going to weigh a freaking ton. So anyway, we have a chronograph, 300-meter water resistance, thickness just a scooch under 13 mils. So despite it being a very big watch, it's not that big this way. We have a unidirectional, I don't know how many clicks. I'm going to guess 120 because each one looks like it's half of a minute. So 60 times 2. Nice positive. And when it locks in, it really doesn't walk back at all. Oh, yeah. Listen to that. Sounds good. So really nice. Not that I sit here fidgeting with that, but hey. I think the only time I've ever used like a timer on a dive watch like that, haven't gone scuba diving like ever. Did snuba a couple times. But when I'm like, oh, I'm taking a COVID test and I need to time 15 minutes. So I put the marker there, and then I know 15 minutes is right there. I don't have to do the math in my head or remember where I started. So screw down crown. Got the T for the Tissots right there. These are also screw down crowns. Now, the only thing I will say about these is that, when it's on your wrist, you really can't get to them to use them. Like you have to unscrew it and they're kind of small. So you almost have to take it off to unscrew them. As opposed to on my Citizen ProMaster Diver, these are bigger and it's easier to get your fingers on them without having to take the watch off. So I would give it a negative for that. I will also say on my other one, my other dive watch that's probably comparable to this, is the Citizen. It's screw down crowns on all the stopwatch pushers. And on the bracelet, it has milled. Now, I see pros and cons with milled versus stamped. Obviously, when you open it up, a nice properly machined and milled clasp looks a lot nicer. It feels a lot more premium. However, those tend to be thicker. When you look at this, when you look at the stamped pressed ones, because you have all this metal and they put, I guess essentially if this was a knife blade, you consider it a fuller. But they put these things in there to give it strength. And because there's more material this way, they don't have to worry about it bending as much, so they can make it really thin. When you look at the ones that are machined, they're narrower because they're big open spaces and there's not a lot of material going this way. It's like strip, strip. They tend to be much thicker, which makes the clasp much thicker, which sticks out more on your wrist and it clangs into things and hits things more. So I don't mind this when it's done right. We remove 2 links from one side, 1 from the other, and it does have 3 micro adjusts, and it is in the middle position. So on a day where I'm feeling like, oh, it's just a little bit loose, I can tighten it 1 click and I can go in the other direction. And honestly, unless you gain like a lot of weight or lose a lot of weight, you never really have to go more than 1 click on a micro adjust in one direction or the other. It's unusual. Now, I don't believe that this one has does this have an oh, it does have an extension for a wetsuit. Well, I don't, if I'm doing diving or something, I'm probably not going to have a wetsuit because it's going to be down in the Caribbean where it's warmer, whatever. The times when I went snubaing, I didn't have a wetsuit. So that one, not as important for me, but for those that like it, I like it like this. It keeps it less bulky. So while I like the look and the idea better of the milled clasp, I like that it keeps it very nice and clean. I also like the fact that it has that extra safety catch. It's nice and secure. It's thin. It doesn't bump way out like a lot of other bracelet, and then it's like double the thickness of this because of the milling, just the way they do it. I like this. This looks nice. It's nice and thin. It helps keep the weight down and the bulk, which is nice when you already have a lot of bulk here. So very nice watch. Let's zoom in a little bit on the complications. So I've unscrewed these. They are all screwed down. That's why you get your 300-meter water resistance. The case back, got some nice machining and engraving. Battery-powered quartz. Nothing wrong with that. These retail for $5.95. So you've got 1/10 of a second up there, and then your 1 second sweep. You've got your minute, obviously, and your hours hands, and then your complication down here is going to be for how many seconds on the clock, not the stopwatch. And then you got your minutes for the stopwatch. So the top 2 complications, you've got your seconds, 1/10 of a second, and then you have your minutes. Hit reset, whoosh, kind of like a mecha quartz, and you're good to go. So I do like this a lot. It's a beautiful, beautiful watch. So I don't know how often I'm going to use the stopwatch. So just so I don't forget when I go take a shower or whatever, go ahead and screw those down. But it's a really nice watch. There's nothing wrong with it. It is a little pricey. When you look at it against the Citizen ProMaster Diver, well, one's Japanese and one's Swiss. Maybe you pay a little bit more for the Swiss. They're both just as beautiful looking. The Citizen, I think, is a little bit of a better bargain because that watch was $430, which is about what I paid for this, but I also got a discount on this. Normally, you'd pay over $5 for this. So the Citizen is solar. Nice. Don't have to change batteries, but every 15, 20 years. And it was that was only 20-meter water resistance, but it had a stamped clasp or a milled clasp. So here you have a stamped clasp, and you do have 30 bars. So you got that extra bit of water protection. So If you're jet skiing or doing something like that where you hit the water with an impact, the 30 bar rating is going to give you better ability to resist moisture getting in there. So you give up solar, but I think it's a beautiful, beautiful watch. I love that red. I love the different shape here, a little bit of a relief cut into the side of it. You have your brushed this way, then a high polish. You have brushed and high polished. It's just a really nice combination of things. I think it's an absolutely gorgeous watch on my wrist, and I'm going to enjoy wearing that a lot. It's not too heavy, but it's there. You're very aware of the weight. You get a 2-year international warranty with it. It's a Tissot. Tissot makes really good stuff. So it's not luxury brand, but Tissot, you spend a few $100. Actually, you think you can get a Tissot down around 100, up into a few thousand. So depending on, what you want. They have automatic movements. They got all different styles and stuff. Tissot is a very good, well-respected watch brand that has been around since 1853. Been around for 100 and whatever. How many years is that? 175 years, something like that. I don't want to do math, but it's nice. You'll have your warranty card and stuff that's all down underneath in there. And comes in a very typical Tissot box. All my Tissot boxes came like this. So very nice. Very cool. Like it a lot. I can see myself wearing that. I'd love the red. The dial drew me in. I almost was going to go for the green one, but seeing that this one is now discontinued, and they've disappeared entirely off of Amazon, I was like, you know what? I'm going to get one while I can. So a little bit of an impulse buy, but there you have it. Tissot Seastar 1000 in a ruby red dial, which is going to look fantastic. Quick lume check before we finish here. Nice blue lume. Very bright. Tissot usually seems to do a pretty good job with that. So you got lume on the 0-minute marker and then nice blue lume. Very good. All right, that's all we got. We're going to wrap it up early, and we're going to do another one on the G-Shock, so stay tuned for that. And stay tuned for the Victorinox Inox. I'm very excited to get that. I managed to score a really good deal. That's a knife that's... knife. Every time I hear Victorinox, I think knife. That is one that's normally like $600 retail. I was able to get a good deal for like $345 on that. So we'll get that one tomorrow, I think, or Monday.